So today we're doing something a little different. We're having a brand feature of this new company on the Switch accessory market that is called Omelet Gaming. They reached out a couple of weeks back asking if I was interested in reviewing their products, and I said, sure, why don't I make a brand feature? So let's just get it on and talk about them. Hi, I'm Clef, and you're watching Game Tech Talk. These products that are featured today have been sent free of charge for review. All opinions are my own and they don't get to see the video before you guys do. Right, so we have a few products. First off, we'll unbox this controller, which is, I guess, modeled after Mario. I mean, it's pretty obvious, and I actually like the box. I think the box looks pretty nice. Look at that. I don't know if that was intentional, and I guess, what is it saying? Exciting adventure awaits you. It kind of looks like the color of a power-up block. Here we have the controller, and I guess that is it. Okay, so it comes with the center attachment, Omelet Gaming here, modeled after the Super Mario N64 font. As I hold it, it reminds me a lot, and actually, I'll probably draw some comparisons to this brand because I think Omelet Gaming is potentially the next Nixie. They've been doing very, very well in the Switch accessory market. So nice attachment. I mean, there's no USB-C, so it doesn't charge or anything, but it's nice that they include it. Definitely not HD rumble, fairly noisy. I see a turbo button, I see some RGB, so I'm pretty sure if I hold T and double tap, yeah, it's gonna open the RGB. So basically it is exactly like the Nixie Hyperion, and it feels very much the same. Now, this is a limited edition model on their website, and I guess if you're going for this, it is because you want the color scheme, which personally I think looks very, very nice. In terms of features, you do have these extra paddles, and they work exactly like other Switch controllers that have this feature. Basically, you hold the mapping button in the back here, and for example, if I'm gonna do, as I hold, I'm gonna do down, down, down. And normally what should happen now when I push it, yeah, so it just, Mario does a triple down, as you can see here. You do have a button to change the rumble intensity. It can wake up the Switch. It doesn't have amiibo, and it doesn't mention the Hall effect stick. So I guess that's one difference, you know, from some of what the competition is offering now. You do have large size sticks, which I very much like, and they're concave. And they have a few other color scheme on their website. Next, we'll look at these Joy-Cons, and I cheated. You'll know why in a second. So these are the Omelet Gaming Joy-Cons. They do look similar to the original ones, but they're not exactly the same. And I have preemptively opened them. Now, one thing to keep in mind is on the website, they sell these individually. So if you want one left side of a color and then one right side of another, you can do that. They are not sold as a pair. I kind of wish that they had the option to like pair the same color at a, you know, a small discount. I feel like it could be an incentive for somebody that doesn't necessarily want to have different colors. They can also wake up the Switch. They also have motion sensing, so they have gyro, but these ones do have Hall effect sticks, and they do have something else that we'll look into. Now, this model, for the left side, I took the white one, so it comes with this attachment where you have, you know, the SL1 and SR1, I think they call these buttons, or maybe just SR and SL. Anyways, all the same. You can hold the button in the back and you just drag it out like this, and they also give you that lanyard if you want to attach it. That goes at the bottom right here, so you can just put it in. So of course, by having Hall effect technology, if you're not familiar with what that is, basically instead of using potentiometers for your sticks, it uses magnets, which greatly decreases the risks of drifting, which, as we know, is a very well-known and documented issue with Joy-Cons. While these ones, they greatly reduce the risks of that happening. And same goes here. You have the attachment, you have the lanyard, which matches the color of the Joy-Con. So if that was something you were wondering, from the front, they look maybe a little more boxy, but fairly close to the originals. But the back does have a little bit of a curve, which I don't find uncomfortable. It's nice to sort of sit your fingers right here, but I do usually prefer where you have a little bit of an ergonomic bump. The shape that you have is really throughout the entire height of the Joy-Cons. So these are the regular ones. Now, the regular ones are definitely slimmer, and yeah, as I said, they're kind of boxier, whereas here the corners are a little more rounded. Now, here you have a proper D-pad. Of course, the original one you don't, although that can be modded. Now, before we actually continue, these ones have just one more trick up their sleeves, which is that they glow in the dark. Now, that one is white, but it should change color as I close the lights. Just to point out, yes, they do glow in the dark, but they discharge fairly quickly. I had charged them before I started the video, and that was about a 40-minute recording. and they're very faint compared to what they can look at max brightness. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do my best to show you the difference. So if I just charge them for a second, you see it's starting to glow. Now that didn't last very long. I'm a little sad, to be honest. I thought it was gonna last a little longer. But do you know what else would glow? Me, if you hit that subscribe button and you make sure to hit the bell to not miss the next video. And as always, thank you everyone for your support. If you have any comments, make sure to drop them in the comment box. And if you like this video, make sure to drop it a like to let YouTube know that more people should see it and that you appreciate the work that goes into making these. Thank you. Usually, much like any other glow in the dark, and that's the reason why I preemptively opened them. When I first took them out of the packaging, it didn't work. So I had to charge them, so to speak. Is not necessarily charging them like through a USB-C port, although you do have one, which I would assume is for updates. They have to be exposed to light for that feature to work when it goes dark. Is it gonna serve any purpose? Not so much. In my opinion, that would be more interesting if displayed in a kid's room. You know, they can sort of have that as a night light type of thing, or just because, you know, they like the look of it because it's cool. But is it practical? I wouldn't say so. Not enough that, you know, you would use that as a feature to light yourself in the dark. Not even close. But it's, you know, it's a cool touch. In terms of feel, so you have membrane for the face buttons. You have membrane for the D-pad as well. Now, these one up top are tactile buttons. The sticks feel really, really good. As you can see here, they have gyro, all the same. And I don't know if you guys will hear it, but they vibrate right now. They're definitely vibrating. Let's put these aside because we're gonna revisit every controller so that we can test them in a fighter. So let's move to the next product on our list, which is the Pro Plus. And that's probably one of the controllers I'm most excited about. I mean, for me, as far as I'm concerned, it seems to be modeled after Pikachu. I think anyone would have a hard time telling me that it isn't the case. I wouldn't believe it. Now, one thing I noticed so far, I haven't seen a single manual. And I have to say, I kind of have a problem with that because logically speaking, I find those products so far are just so well designed for a gift, you know, for a children's birthday party. I'm trying to think from the point of view of a parent. I'm gifting this and they want to know how to work the features. So now I have to go the extra route to print a manual. You know, I kind of wish they would include it. Anyways, maybe I spoke too fast. What is this? How did the chicken feel after a long day on the farm? Exhausted. All right, that's a nice touch. I wish there was something like that on every product I open, but so far it's the only one. So here we have the controller. We have a USB-A to USB-C cable. I'm seeing, okay, gyro, haptic feedback, wireless and wired programmable buttons. Okay, so these ones also do not have Hall effect sticks. It can wake up the switch. There's definitely rumble. I mean, I feel it, I hear it. And on this one, of course, we also have large sticks, concave as well. So I'm really liking that they picked concave for anything. I really like the feel of this controller. This actually feels like a very well-produced controller. I would say the Mario one and this one probably feel the best. The glow-in-the-dark one feel a little on the cheaper side. Ironically enough, these are the ones with the Hall effect sticks, so maybe they made some compromises to make sure to have those sticks in there. This one feels good. In my opinion, probably the best feeling of the three. It does feel like almost on par with Nintendo's Switch Pro controller. In terms of the buttons, everything is very responsive. So we have membrane for the face buttons. We have membrane for the D-pad. We have what seems to be a stiff membrane for the shoulder buttons. I wouldn't call that tactile, and I think it's the same for the triggers. So this is interesting. This is membrane throughout. That's something I really, really like. Here you have, okay, the synchronizing button. And in the back, you have a turbo button. You have one button to synchronize each paddle. You can only use this one to synchronize this one and this to synchronize it. And the process is the same as the other controller that we mentioned earlier. So as you hold it, you input the command and then it'll go automatically to the mapping paddle. You also have a button for your vibration and then a button for what seems to be your light. The buttons are pre-lit. And also the circles, the anti-friction circles around the sticks. Now, I don't think we can change color, but I would assume it's the brightness. So the button itself doesn't do anything. So there might be a button combination, but guess what? I don't have a manual. Haha! And no, I will not go on the website to figure it out. That's something I'm gonna do off video. But see, that's the reason why, and not that I wanna harp on this what's the expression? Harp on this sitar. No, it's definitely not the expression. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is there should be a manual included, at least I believe so. Overall, I like the feel of it, very responsive. I mean, that's a controller I could definitely see myself playing with over other controllers. It's a little unfortunate that it's not Hall effect. I'm hoping that they will have a different model that features it at some point, because this is a really, really good controller. I'm really surprised by the feel of it, and like I said, the responsive buttons, and I like the fact that they're using membrane. All right, we have only but one product to open, but before we do that, I'm just gonna jump into a fighting game so I can test each of the D-pads. Now, someone asked in a previous video of a different controller, and just the same, you can redo the mapping with this controller because it responds as a pro controller. So if you wanted to swap your B and A and X and Y, or any other buttons for that matter, you could do that just as well as you would with an official controller. Just by the look of those lights, I don't think this is an LED casting those colors on the buttons. I'm pretty sure it's a gel or a filter that is being used over regular light. The button that I could never find out what it does, I don't expect that it's going to change the colors. I would assume that it's only going to be for brightness. Okay, so it's honestly, it started a little rough. It's a little bit of a stiffer membrane, and I didn't expect that. So there was like I want to say maybe like a 15-second adjustment. But as long as I make sure to really push my inputs, I'm actually having very, very good results. The only thing is you really, really have to push. So if I want to play a few matches and I want to make sure to perform, I think it's a great control. In fact, one of the best. I'm really surprised once I got adjusted. If I was having like a longer session, I know I really want to like get it out of my system and play for 2-3 hours, I feel like my thumb would end up hurting. But I'm really surprised at how good it works as long as I give it a little bit of an extra push. Let's try one of the other models. I actually forgot to mention when I tried those controllers, the face buttons are membrane, the D-pad is tactile, shoulders are tactile, triggers are membrane. So far, I would say this one is decent, but I prefer the other one. The D-pad does not feel, I'm starting to realize the more I play with it, it's not exactly like the Hyperion. Like, you could be fooled, other than the color scheme, to think it's exactly the same thing. These tactile buttons are a little more muted than on the Hyperion, which I don't dislike, actually. But I'm not... Oh my... Wow, that was terrible. I'm not as responsive in terms of my commands. So far, I'll definitely give it to the Pro Plus Lite controller, which is, I would say, like A+ in terms of D-pad. This more like B-. Yeah, I probably wouldn't use that to play fighters, to be honest. Yeah, I still feel like I would have preferred for it to be a bump rather than the entire height, as I mentioned. But it's not uncomfortable. It's better than the regular Joy-Cons for sure. Oh. I don't know if you guys saw that Ryu was not jumping forward, and I'm pretty sure I was holding both keys, so it might have a little bit of an issue with diagonals on this one. Yeah, no, oh my god, that is definitely the worst. That D-pad is not good. That is a D. Like, that is not a good D-pad for fighters. I'm not even gonna try it any further. I already know what I need to know. I would never play a fighter using that D-pad. That is only good if you need a D-pad for commands. I don't see that, and that's unfortunate because everything else on the controller is quite good. But you know, to me, that kind of goes into maybe it's a little more cheap, and that D-pad definitely gives me that vibe. And on top of that, it's kind of sharp on the edges. Yeah, definitely not my favorite D-pad, if being honest. So let's move to our last accessory, which is this right here, the space charging station. That one basically encompasses a lot of different accessories that they sell, or at least that's how I understand it. So let's open it. We have this little tab here which shows you all the things. Again, no manual, but this one, at least there was, you know, that slide open that shows you basically what you need to know. It doesn't really need to be more complicated than that. So here we have the dock itself. And then we have a USB-C cable, and I guess those are adapters to charge. So I'm not going to be using the USB-C, so let's put that aside. So first of all, let's make sure that this is compatible with this one. It is, okay. So that means, I guess, it would charge their controller. Now, other than that, we have an extra one, which I guess can go here. But let me check if it works on the official controller. I want to make sure it does. Is it compatible? Yes, it is. It fits perfectly. Okay, yeah, that's really nice. So you can charge your official ones. You can charge the Omelet Gaming ones. And I would assume... Huh, funny enough, that one doesn't seem to... Actually, I spoke too quick. It... So I guess there's just a little bit of a lip. I mean, I could probably grind this to charge this controller, but as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't charge. So I don't know if you guys will see it. This light is not lighting up, but the official one does. Yeah, the official one works just fine. You know, maybe something to revisit if possible. Let's install those little crystal looking things. I guess they go here. So here, I don't have any game cards with me, but that's where the game cards go. And these I would assume will be for when we put Joy-Cons. So, okay, let's see if it's... It doesn't work with their Joy-Cons. Again, maybe a bit of a miss. I mean, I'm getting the impression here that this is a drop shipping product, and that's why it's not compatible with their accessory lines. I would hope in the future that they at least make sure that I think it's important that it works with the originals. I would have expected that it would also work with their accessories, but if using original Joy-Cons, that works just fine. So we're able to charge that. There's another something which goes right here, and that would be the official dock. So it's supposed to go right here. Yes, it does. And it also has an anti-skid with little plastics. I guess I'm not going to remove them now, but if you want something that holds a little better. This will not power your dock, right? So probably the best way that you would want to go about this is to have your dock, and right now I'm using a cable coming from my PC for the RGB, but usually you would probably want to have a cable from your dock into the dock, which is probably what that short USB-C was for. That would make the most sense, but right now my dock is not plugged in and the cable doesn't reach. So, you know, I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. So before we move to the conclusion of this video, if you want to see what the RGBs look like, you have this little strip here and you have a button that will let you change modes. So you can change colors. That's what, 6, 7, 8 different, 9 different colors. Yeah. So here, this is a breathing mode. Okay, so it cycles between colors, flashes, I guess, between 2 colors. Okay, I'm starting to get concerned. I hate, I don't know for you guys, I hate in marketing when they show, you know, like that rainbow strip, but it doesn't have that feature. Yeah, see here, it's changing the entire strip at the same time, and that's okay, but I like when it waves, you know, when it has that rainbow effect. It doesn't seem that this one does. Oh, did I speak too fast? I guess, no, there is a wave. I mean, it's very subtle, but this one is definitely a wave effect. Okay, so you know what? I'm okay. I don't need for the effect to be super grandiose. I just need that if you're advertising it, that there is somewhat of a feature that does that. So 9 different colors, and then that's what? 3 or 4 different modes. I like it. I just feel like it would have made more sense to also fit their products, because to me that's just something that would have made the line cohesive. Like if you want to indulge into the brand, you want to have accessories that are compatible with their products. And unfortunately, that is not yet the case, but hopefully this is something they'll consider in the future. As a conclusion, I'm really liking their accessory line. They are doing a few things that are different than what is already on market. And I like the fact that they have this brand going with the Omelet Gaming branding. I do see a lot of great potential, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go in a couple of weeks, couple of months. These have a very strong appeal in terms of for a children's party, or if you like the aesthetic that they provide, because I haven't seen anything like that. Maybe I haven't looked hard enough. They do seem to have exclusive colorways, which I think is interesting if that is what you're looking for. I like that there's a brand cohesiveness. You know, they have like those little stickers of quality everywhere, and their packaging is very on point. Drop shipping is a very common theme nowadays. I don't necessarily hold that against them, but I would feel like they need to have an option that covers their accessory line, because it seems that this is what they're going for, right? That brand cohesiveness, where if you buy into Omelet Gaming, you're buying into an experience that will be consistent throughout products. So I hope that they will eventually offer accessories to sort of carry that legacy that I feel like they're trying to build. Maybe I'm completely off track here. Let me know what you think in the comment box. But to me, it feels like they're trying to do something that has a certain cohesiveness, and I applaud them for that. I'm very happy with the quality overall. The only ones, the glow in the dark, the D-pad. The D-pad is not cutting it for me, as you guys know, but everything else is decent. I feel like we're starting to see third-party Joy-Cons that are like super good quality, that can easily rival Nintendo's. This is not it here, but they're also very cost efficient. So I would say, if you remember, I don't know if you've been buying Switch accessories since the very beginning that they started popping up, but we used to have very, very cheap Joy-Cons. This is much better than that. I'm not trying to imply that this feels like the first lines of Joy-Cons that we had that were super cheap. That does feel better, but it's kind of somewhere in between. And I would rate these lower in terms of quality versus the original ones. I honestly, if not for the gimmick of the glow in the dark, I don't think I would buy these ones, if I'm being honest. Any other product I have very much loved, I enjoyed, and I would be super comfortable getting behind. But Joy-Cons, unless you, maybe if you really like the colorways, but otherwise I wouldn't buy those ones. But with that said, the pricing is great throughout. The pricing is great, and I don't know if it's them having a sense of humor that they ship for free at $69 and more, but I kind of like it. I dig that humorous aspect to them. Maybe that's not the case, but you know, to me that's how it felt, and I actually like it. There is one last thing. When they originally reached out, I asked, are you guys on Amazon? Because to me, you know, most of my viewership is NA and UK, it's almost mandatory to cover products that are at least available on Amazon, or at the very least AliExpress. It wasn't the case when they reached out, but I have seen SKUs starting to pop on Amazon, so I think that's a positive. I would want these products to be readily available on Amazon if ever that's a possibility for them. However, I would assume that if ever that is to be the case, the price would potentially jump. So I feel like it's, you know, somewhat of a compromise. They do have provided a discount code for extra discount. So if you're interested in any other products, or if you just want to get a bunch for yourself, make sure to look into the comment box where you have a link where you can buy these products at a discount. Of course, there's no extra charges to you, the buyer, but that will give me a little bit of a kickback if you do use those links. And that is pretty much it, guys. I mean, I think we covered it all. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment box. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.